everybody. Welcome to POS, the podcast where we find the piece of shit, we be the piece of shit, and everybody's a piece of shit. Joining me as always is my co-host, Bobby Tamburo. Bobby, how are you?
Bang, bang. What's going on, buddy?
Bang, bang.
You shot
I had
me
my
down.
buddy Dion he was telling me that he was stopping a fire with a gun.
You can do that?
I didn't know you could really fight fire with fire.
Yeah, he does seem like the type of guy who would try to fight a fire with a gun. How did it work out?
He said, once he told me that, and I was like, how does it do it that? I go, does the bullet somehow make the fire? I had this whole explanation. He goes, I was kidding. We didn't do that. I'm like, all right, I'm an idiot. But he had to weld some thing where they had to make fire, a thing on a boat, a coupler thing, so it would heat 1 inch, like old-timey shit. And I'm like, I would rather just not be on a boat.
Yeah, he lives a life I'll never understand. Like an old-timey, real man life.
You know Dion?
He is a good man.
Dion.
Voice of God who hasn't been introduced yet.
He can speak before being spoken to.
Of course he can. He's the mainstay of the POS show. You know him. You love him. It's Dan Brown at Ghosty Films Animation, everybody.
Hello.
He's also on a throne of skulls.
Yeah, I'm brooding today.
Better than
He's not going to wait to be introduced.
Yeah,
he's on a throne of skulls.
Yeah.
As opposed to my throne of lies I'm always sitting on.
I'm on a throne of other thrones. So it's just like a big old teeter-totter of thrones. That's what I want. I wouldn't want to sit in a throne. And I don't like when people call a toilet the throne. Fuck you if you do that. That's not dumb. It's a dumb thing. I'm the king of poop. What are you? That's dumb. Why would that be a throne?
I fart real higher.
I'm the king of poop.
Does a Viscount sit on the throne?
Dan, you know I love you, but if you step on my freestyles again, man, we're going to have rat beef.
All right.
Beef. That sounds like a Korean dish.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. I'm going to take him out for Korean food.
Yes. Dad, would you like some rat beef?
You think
Did you
it's
say
beef?
rat beef or rap beef with a P?
Initially,
he
I
said P,
rap.
but rat beef could also be the thing.
Yeah, it would definitely be. You think you're eating beef, but let's be honest.
Well, it would be beef still, right? Does beef mean cow or does beef mean meat?
I think beef means cow, but I mean, they're not going to say
cow
rat.
butt?
I mean, you're going to disguise it somehow.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, because when you say coconut meat, which also I hate, don't say coconut meat. That's not meat.
I got
when people say the meat of a coconut, that's not beef.
Coconuts have milk also, though. So it's kind of like there's a whole dairy theme.
They don't have milk. They have this white goo that we say is milk. Milk comes from cows. It doesn't come from almonds. It doesn't come from fucking, orangutans. It doesn't come from, what else? Soy. That's not milk.
Not to be that guy, but it does come from orangutans.
I know.
Wait,
I was trying.
What comes from orangutans?
Milk.
Your
breast
mom.
milk.
I didn't know that.
Orangutans have some big old jugs.
Not all of them.
Even the males have like these weird inflated sacs that grow out of their heads like sideways. And when they're like feeling emasculated, the sacs just deflate and just sag. And they're all like, they need like extra support. Yeah. And then
where do they get the support?
I don't know. I think when they're like boosted up, it has something to do with whether they're able to fight for females. Like whenever they're physically in good condition and they're ready to fight, like their chest or their face sacs just swell up sideways and form these like weird bulbous head boobs.
Weird bulbous head boobs is a band that opened for Godsmack in 1997. I'm telling you, that has to be who it is. No, but it's not milk though.
Nah, it's probably like pus or something.
Yeah, that's definitely, you can't have head milk.
Nah, but I mean, yeah,
right.
Depends on how you want to interpret.
Milk is from boobs.
Yeah.
The best part is I just didn't have sound going out, so we just put the sound on, and people are like, "You can get milk from orangutans." That's where we cut in, so nobody has.
So if anyone was watching live right now, they just saw us kind of go
for a few seconds. Yeah, it cut out. It's back now. Think that's the beauty of a live chat. Letting us know. Thank you, Jerry and New York comedians suck.
So to catch all these people up, we're on a strict diet of orangutan milk.
No, Dan is, and that's why he's going to hell. Because in the Bible it says you shouldn't drink orangutan milk.
Okay.
I don't know if it says that, but I
we can
knew
do the
neither of you
milk
guys
thing's
knew
gonna be
enough.
an argument we have for a long time. But I don't like if someone tells me they call a toilet a throne. I don't respect them as a person for a little bit.
I'm the king of poop. There ain't nothing higher. Sucker MCs.
What about
She
this?
fart
Do
outside her. Dan, if you interrupt me again, we're gonna have rat beef.
you,
For the
Rat
people
beef
that could
sounds like
hear
a
it
Korean
before,
dish.
we are just doing this Groundhog Day thing where we're doing the same.
I was gonna see if we could get Dan if he noticed we were doing the same thing again.
Well, the
so
problem is, Bobby, if I knew what you were gonna rhyme with, I was gonna do the other part, but I didn't want to yell the wrong word over your sire. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah.
gonna be the right thing.
I apologize. Our telepathy's not there yet, but we'll get there, folks.
so you hate the word referring to the toilet as the throne, but what if somebody's drunk and they're throwing up and they're worshiping the porcelain goddess? How do you feel about that, Pat?
I think that's also dumb, Dan.
Oh, sorry.
I think you're just throwing up in the toilet and you should stop trying to make it fancy and somehow spiritual.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
Porcelain goddess. What the hell is that? That's just white women. Am I right?
Lindsay Lohan.
She
Yeah,
is a
makes-
porcelain. You know what, Bobby? I don't always take your side on that. But if you're going to go to women that are very white, porcelain god, she would make a higher list of porcelain goddesses.
Her, Taylor Swift. Who else?
See, I still think Taylor has too much melatonin to be in the porcelain section.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who she's a wrestler, but she used to be in the WWE as Paige, and now she's on Sarai in AEW. But she's Scottish or Irish, whatever one of those two things. I think Scottish, and she's like white as white can be white. She's very pretty, but like almost transparent.
Okay.
that guy Seamus is also freakishly white.
Yes, but he wouldn't make our list of hot white ladies.
Yeah, you're right.
He is very white. Not Barry White. Barry White is black as shit. Very White is Seamus. Don't confuse the two.
I'm not
Remember
a
when
lady.
quiche was gay?
Who?
Quiche.
Who's quiche?
The food.
Oh, that's gay?
See?
Yeah, it's French.
Because I'm flaming if that's gay.
But that's
Yeah.
and Bobby, I'm very see. You say we don't have telepathy, we do because I have two things written down here. Because I heard someone say that very thing. They were like, "Quiche, that makes you gay if you eat quiche." I remember hearing that when I was like in the '80s as a kid. And the other thing we all thought was gay in the '80s was being French. That was two things. If you were those two, if you had either one of those two things going on, gay. But why would eggs in a pie be gay?
Because it's French.
Why is French gay? Don't they fuck ladies?
Yeah, but they also don't ever fight any wars. They just surrender. They've never
They're
brought
not
anything
gay. They're not
culturally
saying gay as in
appropriate.
sexual. They're saying gay as in, stop it.
They wear
Gay.
berets.
Oh, they do wear berets.
So do the Green Berets, and they are tough as shit.
Oh, but gay people can be tough too.
That's a good point, Pat. That's a little homophobic of you.
No, okay, well, they can be tough, but only when with their sex. There's nothing tougher than taking a dick in your ass, am I right, ladies?
Oh,
All right.
I thought you meant like they couldn't be mean to women. I was like, I don't think you know gay guys.
No,
They are
incest.
catty.
That's tough.
No incest.
Like their favorite thing would be the thing that would crack me if I was an agent. If I was a spy and you're like, what's the torture that can crack Pat? I don't know, fucking me in the butt. I'll tell you stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, yay! So that's crazy.
But if they were like making love to your butthole, how much time would have to surpass of that before you would give information?
Making
Would you give it
love
away immediately?
To your old butthole.
I would make them sign an agreement before they touch my butt. I was like, all right, on the grounds that nothing enters me, I'll tell you whatever you need to know.
And then they're like, yep, get on the ground. We're touching your butthole. Like, it said on the ground, not on the grounds.
What if
like that.
what if you entered them and they were like, if you give us information, we will perform certain services that only Green Berets can perform on your penis.
Are there lady green berets?
Wait, I'm giving them info and then fucking them?
As a reward for your helping them. They gotta have some kind of bargaining chip.
There are
I don't wanna
definitely
be
a lot of
gay.
pornos with that theme.
Really?
Straight pornos where like they're women soldiers and you're not gonna tell him anything. I think that'd be a fun route for you to go down, Dan.
But when you were growing up, what was something that if someone did it, you would say gay? Not gay as in sexual, but gay as in that's dumb. What was a thing that if you saw someone doing it, Bobby, you go first. That when you would see it, like when it's like I said, if I liked quiche as a kid, someone goes quiche, that gets gay, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't know.
Hot dogs, wearing the color pink, being
One
too
at a time.
stylish.
One at a time. So you want to go hot dogs or color pink first?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs are just the eating of a hot dog, or just hot dogs in general.
Eating of a hot dog.
Like if I see you buying a package of hot dogs, is that gay? Or if I see you eating a hot dog, is that gay?
I mean, you're gonna buy them with the intent to eat them, so it would be like premeditated gayness, but you wouldn't be.
But you wouldn't yell gay, but you would yell gay if they're eating it.
Yeah, although I guess that would be more the gay, not like weird gay.
Yeah, the pink shirt, definitely. That was always when I was growing up. No pink shirt. Dan?
I didn't really call a lot of people gay. Usually they were calling me gay.
Right, but what were you doing where they called you gay?
Existing.
That's pretty gay. Every gay person I've ever met existed.
Mm.
They weren't wrong, Dan. They weren't wrong.
Trying too hard.
That's not gay.
That was when I was a kid. It was.
In what setting, though?
Any setting.
No, wait. If you're playing football, like a sport, and you're trying hard, you're gay.
Unless if
Your
it
coach
was,
is like, you gotta go harder to Dan Burrow, and someone's like, gay.
Yeah, if you were like a super try hard, I guess not necessarily in a game, but at practice. We used to call him Bag All Stars. The guy who could hit a pad really hard and.
Trying hard, I never associate with gay. Trying hard, I associate with Mexican.
I mean, I got called gay a lot. I tried hard.
Yeah, I didn't get called gay.
I think
Definitely called people gay. I got beat up for it. Two guys that weren't gay got real mad. One time in high school when I kept every class going, gay?
That's kind of gay.
No matter what, they'd raise their hand. What's the answer? I go, is it gay? I walked outside and they're like, can gay guys do this? And as they beat me, I'm like, yeah, there's two of them. They love beating dudes.
It's kind of gay.
Yep. I got suspended. They didn't.
I feel like
wait. You got suspended for getting beat up.
Yep.
How'd you tell that one to your dad?
I was telling him gay. He was like, were they? I'm like, I think so. He's like, all right. See you
Learn how to fight better. Keep your hands up.
Yeah. Nobody was saying. I mean, believe me, when the kind of kid I was growing up, the attitude was, you deserve the beating. Like,
yeah.
Right.
They weren't going to put you in like karate classes. Otherwise, you'd learn to fight back and then lose the punishment.
Karate to me was gay when I was. I know it's cool now, but you were putting on pajamas and doing fights with your feet.
Oh yeah. Karate was major gay back in the day.
Karate was so gay. If you knew karate or even like thought about karate, you're just wearing pajamas and you got belts on and you got your feet out. That's gay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything with your feet out was gay to me.
We had a fun rule with basketball where if you shot anything that wasn't a three or a like reverse underhanded layup, gay.
Yeah.
I probably would have been called gay more if like I actually had friends.
Oh wait, why would your friends call you that?
Because
it's supposed to be people that aren't your friends yelling at you insult. Now, I think because we are in this day and age, let me be clear and state it so 100 times so nobody gets. This isn't anything about homosexuals or people who are in love with the same sex. This is about a word that was used when we were growing up. It was used as an insult that did not even match up the whole what being a gay person is. It had to do with yelling the word.
If gays know anything, it's about matching up with a hole, if you know what I'm saying.
Who's making love to your old butthole? But yeah, damn, your friends. I know people that always say that. Like me and my friends always did gay stuff. Like put a ball sack in a mouth. Well, that's not games. That's it. And Dan, you've told stories on our podcast many times about your one friend who was very gay to you.
But I thought we were talking about when we were kids. Those guys, I didn't really get to know them until I was like in my 20s.
Oh, I always assumed that was high school.
No, we were adults.
Dan, you were sexually assaulted, buddy.
Yeah, Dan. Oh my god. All those stories about that guy who would be fat and clothed and the lights would go off and then come back on, he'd be naked in 1 second. That was a 25-year-old man.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god. I
it's
thought he was
somewhere
like
in the
14.
no.
I thought it was silly kids like not understanding sexuality. You were just a guy was just trying to fuck, Dan.
That was a guy trying to get his dick wet, Dan.
Yeah, and you were the wetness.
Nah. I think they were just like fooling. They're just like silly stuff, just palling around.
They were going to the Dan Brown eye.
Dan, you animating again? Here, I got something. You can paintbrush this dick.
I think the gayest thing that I did when I was a kid was like when we used to play G.I. Joes. My friend would always like turn his back away from his like he'd have his all of his army like laid out on the floor, and he would turn around, and I would take two of his guys, and I would make them in a loving embrace, like making out, and I would hide them among the forces, and then he would just turn back around, and then he would see his two troops like in a like just being affectionate to each other.
A passionate makeout.
Yeah, and he would just get mad at me, and because
but you were doing that to make him mad.
Yeah.
If he left the room and was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming back. You're on your own," and then you wouldn't just be with the guys going, "Yeah, make the sweetest love, Rear Admiral." You wouldn't do that.
Probably not.
Right. So yeah, that's not what we're talking about.
You also psyoped them. Because now your army knows that they allow, some hanky-panky on the other side.
There you go. That's another question I had. Good segue, Bobby. How old were you when you found out other countries had armies?
Armies?
Not like ones you knew about war. But like when I found out like Mexico has one, I was like, wait, what? Like seriously, it was, and I was way older than I should have been. Or like Canada had an air force. I'm like, oh, that's adorable. Like I just didn't think they had one. Did you always think they had one?
I learned as a kindergartner. I have a cousin who's a year older than me, and my grandpa would always get us like matching gifts, and it would usually be like Star Wars bases, and then we could fight with each other when we hung out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One year, I got the green soldiers. He got the brown soldiers. And his older sister probably told him, well, those are the Germans. And he threw his toys and yelled, "God damn it, the Germans suck." And I remember he had to sit in timeout for 5 minutes. I had to be explained that more than just the U.S. have armies. Every country does. And then in doing so was like, well, hang on a second. If their guys are trying to kill our guys, isn't he right? God damn it, they do suck. And then I had to sit in timeout too.
You had German time. Was your grandfather a Nazi?
No, he was Italian. He was on board. He fought in Korea.
See, there you go. See, German, I always knew because that was Hitler. My whole life, I'm 48, but like Hitler was always known as the most evil thing in the world my whole life. So we all knew Germany. And even if I didn't know any history, I knew Germany was bad and they had guns and army. But when I found out later that the Italians were in the mix a little bit, I'm like, the Italians have an army? That's so beautiful. Like, I didn't think they would have an army. That was weird to them. Like, Norway has guns. Like, that was all weird to me.
I remember Germany being a bad guy growing up because on 9/11 I came home from school and was like, Dad, I bet you Germany did it.
Oh, yeah, you grew up in 9/11. I was at an age where if I was Dan's friends, I'd be turning the lights off, being naked, and turning the lights back on during 9/11.
I was in 4th grade.
Yeah, I was like in my 12th. My daughter was born that year.
So I guess the worst thing.
Or the next year. Because
Okay,
that happened in September.
good.
She was born the next year.
That's good.
I got in a real bad car accident a week after 9/11.
So
that was my night. That was my
I was
night.
gonna say, yeah. The worst part of your year then wasn't 9/11.
No, it was my. I didn't know any of them. The 9s or the 11s. I didn't know either
More
one.
like 7-11, am I right, guys? Ooh.
I would have been as a kid in high school. I would have been way more devastated if our local 7-Eleven got attacked. Because I used to go there every day to get Gatorades. I used to, when I was younger, I used to collect the wrestling big gulp cups. And I would always go there and get those, like the Junkyard Dog and the Roddy Piper one. And I finally got the last one I needed, the Coco Beware one. And I brought it with me. We were going to play like a pickup football game, like just kids there. And there's a bully kid who came and he saw that cup and he goes, "Do you like that cup?" And I go, "Yeah, I like that cup." I was like 3rd grade. Where he goes, "Do you like this?" And he took a baseball bat and just smashed the cup. And I was crying. And my mom got home. I'm like, Mike, I had the last cup. I had the whole collect. It took me weeks to keep going and getting all the cups. I still brought it with me. Of course, I'm being yelled at for why would you bring the cup? It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. I was excited. We went back. They were out and they stopped the promotion. And there was never going to get cups again.
And what happened to the bully?
Nothing. It was fucking in the 80s. No one cared.
Listen, Pat, if 6ix9ine taught us anything, it's that your man got shot. Go get a gun and get some get back.
This is the second time that you've. Oh no, the first time was off air, I think. But this is the second time I think you've used shooting people as the answer.
Sometimes, Second Amendment.
No, I think at this point we should all tell people maybe violence is not the answer. You shouldn't shoot people. We got 3 white people hosting on this show, and one of them's got flames in a throne. Let's stay away from the shooting.
But thankfully, none of us have changed gender, so we are off the culprit for a while.
I mean, I changed gender from boy to man. Is that a gender?
These days, who knows?
Well,
no,
I mean,
he identifies as a man, Your Honor. He identifies as a man.
Okay. Bobby, would you sleep with a man?
No.
Would you sleep with a woman?
Yes.
Okay. There are people out there that if you said, would you sleep with a boy? They go, yes. Would you sleep with a man? They go, no. So I changed genders.
Right. And that was the joke I was making as well. That, Your
Right.
Honor, he identifies as a man.
Right. And I just thought I would reiterate that by telling another joke.
You reversed it. I like it.
I don't.
You made it better.
I didn't know we were going to do the fucking part. The BTS of POS.
No, I like it. You tagged that. Pat, Dan,
Yeah.
your turn. Say something about trans.
Love them. I don't know. What do you?
Good endorsement. Clip it.
Yeah.
Clip it.
I was doing a show last night. I did a mic and a show. And I was driving back with Andrew Alfredo, a comic, and we were talking about. Dan knows this person. There's a person from Northampton, Mass, a comic that we all lovingly call AIDS Cookie Lady because she has AIDS. And one time she made cookies at the open mic, and she offered him the one comic, and he goes, "No thanks." And then she's like, "Come on, I made it myself." He goes, "Yeah, that's what I figured." "No thanks." She's like, "Come on, why don't you want one?" He goes, "Yeah, you made them. I don't want AIDS cookies." So she became AIDS Cookies Lady. But forever, and Dan knows this, even when people told me it wasn't true, I've also believed that this lady was transgender. And also, but went through post-op. I've said that to you, Dan. You're like, pretty sure that she was always a woman. I'm like, look at her real hard. She looks like an old man. And I've made people look at her real hard and like, you might be right, but she's not. But I've always thought, I'm like, how could she have kids? She's a transgendered AIDS cookie lady. They're like, no, she's not transgendered AIDS cookie lady. She's just regular AIDS cookie lady.
Yeah.
She could have had children when she was a man and then transitioned afterward. And like,
imagine that someone just
How
seals
did
up
we
your
end
home
up
and you
here?
can't ever go back. That's gotta. Is that weirder for the kids or the? And once again, we are not shitting on transgender people. We think they're wonderful and powerful and strong. We're just asking questions that we don't understand. That's why we're POSs. We don't get it. There you go, whole thing.
So
Who do you think it's more awkward for? The child, but child old, not like 2 or 3, like old enough to like junior high, whatever, and your parent switches, and now you have to deal with, I always called you mom, but now I call you dad, or vice versa, or the parent who raised you as a little girl, and now you're their son. I'm not saying they can't accept it and it can't be wonderful. I'm just asking you as your own people, which one would be weirder for you to handle?
I don't know which would be like, I don't know. It's hard for me to like put my head in that space because I only know like 3 trans people. And like when I was a kid at Halloween, one time my friend, his father was gay and he showed up dressed up as Cinderella. And my mom was like, "Oh no, you're not taking my kids trick-or-treating." Like she just became all sassy and was like,
And black. Why was your mom a black woman?
I don't know, but
That's the weirder one. He might be like, listen, I might be Cinderella, but you're being a black woman right now.
Yeah, Rachel Dolezal prequel. Yeah, she like, I don't know. I think what I grew up in a time where people were much more closed-minded. So I don't even know what my mom would think about or my parents would think about like trans people. Both of my
Someone
parents
showed up at my house when I was a kid, dressed in a dress, and they were a fella. The door would close.
How old?
How old was the person?
Yeah. That you would close the door on. Like if, there are certain ages.
Me? I'm
Yeah.
not saying I would close the door. I would go,
Oh.
whoa, what are you doing? Come on in. Because I would be like, I was somebody who was always like, what is going on with you? Why are you this? Like, that's kind of how I was inquisitive. But my dad, I'm pretty sure I don't think he would have closed the door, but he would have like not let him in.
No,
And
I
then,
get. Yeah, I get
and
that.
if they were teenage, he'd just be like, oh, that must be a punk thing or something. But if they were like 40, yeah, get out of here.
I forgot the part that it was somebody's dad. I thought it was a kid. That you were like, if somebody was trick or treating and it was a boy dressed as a girl, I'd slam
No,
the door
I mean
on him. And I was like, whoa.
it's also it's Halloween.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
that same kid came by in June,
That'd be a little. You'd have some questions.
yeah, I'd be like, what's going on there? It's like laundry day. Like that'd be fun.
I gotta think it's harder to understand your kid.
But wouldn't that be the best way to not come out of the closet? You just go into work in a dress, all of a sudden people are like, Bob, what are you doing? It's like laundry day. Every day.
Yeah, that I would
That
be a
makes
good way
sense.
to make people not really address it, but let them know. You know,
Right. But then they're like, wait, don't you live alone?
Nope.
Whose laundry is that? I don't know. Laundry
Mind
day.
your own goddamn business, and then you just keep
Ladies
going
that
about
I
your-
murdered.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like as a
That'd be better if you're like, no, I'm not transgender. I'm not cross dressing. I'm a murderer.
Oh, okay. You're all right then. It's not as long as you're not one of those.
I'm eating the bitches. They're like, oh, woo, woo. Because yours will make a better podcast. It's Jeffrey Dahmer, not Jane Dahmer.
I do remember like working at the supermarket, like I don't know if she was trans or just a cross dresser, but one time this person that was not originally female came in dressed as a female, and one of my coworkers was like, "Hello, sir," and he just like he was laughing about it afterward, but he deliberately called this person something that they didn't want to be called, but like back in those days, like the person didn't do anything. Now you got like did you ever see that meme of Macho Ma'am Randy Savage where that woman was like, it's sir, or no, it's ma'am, and she was like calling the
But what did she sound like?
Macho
Cup
Man.
of coffee in the morning. Cup of coffee in the morning. Did they do that with the Macho Man?
If you had to do your best impression of her, Dan, what would it sound like?
In the meme?
No,
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. You're the
I'm asking you
trans
to
woman.
recreate this right now. You're doing the voice.
Theater of the mind.
There was this guy. I mean, there was this woman.
No,
who,
just do the voice. You don't have to do the setup. We got the setup.
it's ma'am. Stop calling me sir. I want to speak to you. I want the phone number of your home office. And then she smashed over a display of, I don't know, games or something.
Nice. That was good. If I closed my eyes, I would have thought Buffalo Bob or whatever his name
You
was.
nailed it,
South of
Dan.
the Lambs.
You're a great big fat person. Want me to tuck my penis between my legs and do a dance?
No, but thanks for offering.
I like how the minute we start streaming to my YouTube, the first topic is gay, 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 gay. Then it's trans, and then it's Dan putting his dick between his legs.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be
That's why I
harder.
asked. Where are we streaming?
Yeah, no, I know. It's harder. It's got to be harder for you to understand your kid, because like as a kid, you just assume adults are normal. Like you assume your parents know what they're talking about, that they've got it all together for the most part. So I think if you saw them go through that, you'd be like, this is just what people do. It would be tough if you had like one parent who wasn't on board and just shit talked. Or it'd be even more confusing if you were, say, like, I don't know, the head of health for the government and you were a man and had kids, and then you switched to a woman, and then your wife was a woman and she switched to a man, and then you had to explain that to kids, and then they had to go to school and be like, wait, your parents didn't do the butterfly thing where they both change halfway through your life? Like,
I'm sure
that
they're,
might
like,
be tough.
I'm sure there are like a lot of things like that kids can't explain. Like, what if your dad had colon cancer and he had to like poop into a colostomy bag and roll around in a wheelchair? Like, a kid would have trouble explaining that in the same way.
That's super easy. My dad is Dr. Charles Xavier. But his magic is in that bag. And if you mess with him, he throws it at you and you disappear. Because of course you'd run away. You got poop on you from a bag. As a
Start being
kid,
depressed
I would
at
like
5.
that way more. If I was a kid and so my parents were like, I have a let's say, what are we talking kid though? Like younger than 10? Because if I'm
We'll
younger
say
than 10 and I can
younger
tell
than 10.
people, my dad has a traveling toilet. It's the best. He can poop in a store. He can poop at McDonald's. He can poop at the zoo. He can poop at the circus, the parade. You name it, he poop it. Mike, can your dad poop anywhere? Does your dad have to get a key from the gas station? No, my dad is the key to the gas station.
Mommy, why I have to poo and potty when daddy poo in chair?
Were you Asian?
I was trying to be a little kid. If I was Asian, my name would have been Who Flung Poo.
Flung poo. Hoo, 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 hoo. Are we getting anyone watching this?
We keep fluctuating between 3 and 4.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
thanks for staying around.
10% of our viewership. All right, can I have a POS story.
Yeah.
So I today, I don't know, you guys probably can't tell because it's really not showing, but I've been working hard on my diet, and the one thing that's killing me is I wake up very hungry every morning and I go get a donut. And
what kind of donut?
It depends. And the worst part is if the one gas station has a better donut selection, but the other place is nice. So if I go to the mean place and they don't have donuts, or the worst part is sometimes the attendant working will just go stand by the donuts and eat his breakfast. And if it's the last good donut that he's eating, I will lose my mind. I will become irrationally angry. So I went to GNC today and was like, hey, is there a protein like that I could do to replace my breakfast? I kind of explained it like I just did to you guys, to the one behind the counter. And I was like, and it's like, it's a donut. Like, I should be able to stop eating donuts. And I was like, and it's gotten to the point where I've been running more, so I'm even hungrier. So today I ate 2 donuts. How crazy is that? Someone was kind of like shrugged off the donut thing and was like, yeah, I got options for you. And I was like, oh, thanks. And she was like, and if you want something to like actually eat instead of protein, and I was like, instead of that donut, get the same satisfaction. She kind of like rolled her eyes and started to get like a little dismissive. And then one more time, I go to the counter. I have the final thing. She's like, oh, good flavor. I love that one. I was like, yeah, too bad they didn't have a donut one. And she like huffs and just kind of throws my stuff in the bag. And as I'm going to leave, I see behind the counter Dunkin' Donuts, and she has 3 donuts in the bag. So who's the piece of shit? Is it me for not being able to let the word donut go? Is it the girl working at GNC for being I don't know what the right word is, but like being hurt by the fact that I bring up donuts because she's feeling guilty for eating a donut? Or is it the person for working at the fitness store for not hiding her goddamn donuts? Like, I don't care if you eat them, but just don't show the public that. You should just live off those supplements. Dan, we'll kick it to you first, buddy. And if anybody's still paying attention in the chat, we'll get your answers at the end.
I mean, GNC is a health food store.
Yeah, it's like supplements and protein. So they sell fake steroids and protein powder.
I think she made her bed and she better sleep in that shit. Like, how the hell is she gonna promote unhealthy lifestyles while advertising a store devoted to healthiness? That piece of shit. How dare she?
Now let me ask you this, and I often
wait, what happened with Dan right there? He's like, so wait, what kind of store is that? And you're like, it's a health store. That piece. You became very like a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic robot. Like,
Dan hates capitalism.
Again, Dan needed his setting to get into the character.
Dan hates capitalism, but if you're going to participate in the game, he wants you to stand behind the values you sell.
I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, though, Dan. Is there some logic to this? Because I often rationalize in the mornings and go, this is for my mental health. Like, could she make that argument?
Food?
Yeah. Every once in a while, you got to have a cheat day. It happens to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, that is kind of a healthy, holistic mindset. Now, Pat's probably the healthiest person on this podcast. That's why I saved him for last.
Not lately, but yeah, go ahead. Me?
Dan, go ahead.
I didn't know if you were Dan. I thought you were saying you're saving for me, but you and Dan were still...
I was waiting to see what Dan thought about that.
I mean, I'm a slacking off piece of shit. Like, I'll do cheat days. Like, I don't. It's not like my regimen is like strict, and I'm, I goof off all the time. Yeah, I probably do lots of like unhealthy. I drink, I guzzle alcohol like a freaking fish.
But they do
Ah,
say that it has a lot of calories.
yeah, I mean, I probably do a lot of stuff for my sanity.
Yeah, and I've talked about this before. I don't think it really helps my sanity as much, but I'll explain that in my analysis. Pat, we're kicking it to you next.
Now, kind of what Dan just said kind of fits into what I'm thinking. Now, what other items, Bobby, if you went into this GNC and you were, first of all, I'm just like you. I would not have been observant of her bag of food in the back. Maybe if I was just looking there, but it's not like it was on the front counter right there in front of you and you were being a dick. You were asking questions. It's early in the morning. You're trying to get going places, do whatever. You're not focused on her shit. So that's whatever here and there. But what other item, if you were being observant the whole time, would have bothered you at a GNC besides a donut? Like a pack of smokes, would that bother you?
Not as much.
Would
And the reason why is it's specifically the food. Like it is a food
no, understand?
replacement.
I'm
Food
just trying to
supplement. So
make a point there with the health part.
no. What would have really bothered me would have been like a McDonald's.
For
Or a
food,
big bag of pork rinds.
not bad
Ooh.
for you.
Pork rinds are
Um,
not bad for you.
I'm sure.
I thought they were just like deep fried fat or something, like a bunch of hog flesh just deep fried, and then you just shove it into your mouth, and it's like gross fried hog skin. Like, isn't that what
Yeah,
pork
maybe
rinds
that's
are?
not good for you. I don't know. I don't work at GNC.
me neither.
I work at just the end part. But no, what I was trying to say was the food part is bothersome, but I'd be more bothered, I think, myself as a customer if it was cigarettes and she's trying to give me health advice. If she has a bottle of booze back there and she's trying to give me health advice, things that even like a torch for dabs would bother me probably in a GNC. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter to that thing. But you know what I'm saying? Like if I saw some
Yeah.
zigzags, I'd be like, okay, I'm not taking your advice. What the fuck are you doing here? But then again, it's not like I'm going to her for a trainer. It's whatever.
Right.
But that being said, I do realize that most people that take jobs like that just took the job. So therefore, I would be like, yeah, whatever. You have donuts. So in that regard, you aren't the piece of shit because you you would have made a bigger deal about the way you were doing it. Even if I thought so and I was the person working there, I would have thought you were trying to ask me because you saw the donuts. Hey, we have similar tastes. I like donuts too. Do you know something that would be like if you weren't going to have the donut and you work here because you don't sell donuts here, unless maybe you're going to sell me those. Maybe that would have been the thing.
Yeah,
You're
yo,
like,
let me get a donut, dog.
can I buy those donuts? What about those 3 donuts back there? You can throw me a crawler. That would be dope. I'll take a crawler and a creatine. That sounds nice. That's a good CNC. But but if that was the thing, one thing to relate. I also don't think it's her because she didn't go, are you fucking kidding me? She didn't make a deal. She gave you a look. You interpreted, and probably rightly so, that she was upset because of the donuts, but she never said, fuck you, I have donuts. Are you calling me a fatty? Are you doing? She didn't say shit.
No, and I think part of what helped me in that particular aspect is how I look. Like I don't look like a gym bro where I would bust your balls about eating a donut. Like I look like a guy who cheats and eats donuts. You know what I mean? I've still got some work to do. So I
Right?
think
She
if I
probably
had
also does not look like a gym thing, I'm guessing.
of the two of us, you would go she works out more than me.
No, but I'm sure she wasn't like this. Like you would have started this with this stunningly hot,
No.
fit lady.
She looked in shape. Like it looked
Right.
like she knew what she was doing, but she didn't look. You wouldn't go, oh my god. Like, sorry, I'll let you finish your answer and then I'll.
No, I'm just saying you could
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that she had donuts.
Yeah, absolutely. You could believe
Because
that.
what I'm saying is, if she was this Trish Stratus looking fitness model woman, and you would, because you then would have noticed the donuts and went, "Holy shit, you're eating donuts! What do you do where you can eat donuts and still look that good?"
She's
You
like,
would have
HGH.
literally asked that question.
Yeah.
Because she's so hot, your eyes would divert to something else, so you wouldn't be staring a hole at her. But because she was just a decent looking lady, you didn't notice the donuts because you could look at her without being like feeling like a creep. It's GNC because Bobby, you just fell upon a thing that would make them money. It would make it easier for people like us to go into their stores. If you literally made sections like Blockbuster Video used to, where it's like, here's romance, here's drama, here's comedy. But instead it was, if you like donuts, you'll like this. If you like Big Macs, you need this. If you don't like walking, you try this. That would be perfect for me, because people that work out all the time, they're buying their shit online. It's us people that need to go in there and need a little bit of help. And if we don't have to ask questions and we can just go to the stuff, like in Behind the Beads is like, if you can't get a hard on, you need this. Like Tommy K's when you go for the porno movie, but now you're going for boner pills. It would be perfect.
Exactly.
So a piece of shit is GNC for not understanding a great business concept when you just threw it to them.
I think that's a great point. Jerry in the chat kind of agreed with you about the donut thing and said it was an opportunity for her to relate and sell me something.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, I have the same problem. Look, here. See? Let's go grab you some protein bars. These help me sometimes. I still slip, and be human. But the other thing about GNC is back in, 2012 even, if you went into a GNC, the guy looked like Arnold. You know what I mean? He was clearly not taking what was in the store. He was buying steroids and just working out nonstop.
I'm retarded. I thought, hey, Arnold. And I'm like, why
did you
in like 2 seconds, I'm like, that'd be insane. It's this giant, hello, do you? But then I realized you meant Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. But, oh, shit. The visual I had for a second, I was like, the 80s were crazy.
Yeah, dude. But no, and so that was what you saw. You saw a guy who was roided out, you know what I mean? And now it's anybody can work there, which is great, but use that relatability some and be like, hey, look, I'm an everyman too. This is how I'm trying to find some progress. This is how it's helped me. You know what I mean? Be relatable still. But that's for me, and Dan, I've talked about this before. When I exercise, I just get angry. I get frustrated.
Why?
Because I don't like exercising.
Because he's little and he can't reach all the stuff.
No, I don't even work out. I'm just talking about I'll be on a run and somebody will voice chat me and then or Facebook message me and I'll respond voice chat and then have to text them later and be like, sorry, I was running. I didn't mean to be a dickhead. But the conclusion it leads me to, Dan, is one of two things, right? Either God laughs at us, right? Because why wouldn't we be able to eat donuts and be in shape? Or women breed with people who shouldn't. They shouldn't. So the piece of shit's me. I should just have the willpower to not eat a donut. And
have you lost weight recently?
I have.
No, like a couple pounds?
More than a couple.
Okay. No, I'm not saying shit. I'm just real thing. Yeah. So if you've lost weight recently, and has a lot of it come from you not eating carbs?
No.
You have been eating more importantly, anything with wheat or stuff like that?
I do have some.
But if you cut down on that?
I have been cutting down on wheat a little bit, yeah.
When you cut down on the wheat shit like that at the very beginning, your body craves more sugar. So you're wanting donuts more than ever.
Yeah. And
that's where the fruit thing kicks in, where you're like, it still doesn't do it. So you gotta, ice cream helps at the beginning, as long as you don't have a dairy fucking fix. Something to give it a sweetness, because your body, because that all that sugar, that you know how Italians have the cheeks and the ankles and the wrists that are all swollen? It's because all they do is eat bread and ravioli. If you stop eating that shit for a week, you first see it in your face and your ankles, but that's all built up shit. That's like the sugar from there that doesn't know where to go, so it deposits in those spots. So when you lose that, your body's like, yo, where the fuck's that sugar? And now you want donuts.
Makes sense, and I think we found some good options, so thank you.
Yeah. And where's this GNC? Because this lady sounds attainable.
Oh, very much so. Ridge Hill.
When I worked at a bookstore, people would always come in and assume that I'd read every single book in the store, and I'd literally have people coming up to me.
Because you're illiterate.
I know.
They would come up. Can you quote some more Mark Twain, please? And you're like, I only say that one word.
But they'd be like, which one? I was like a 19-year-old kid, and they'd be like, which one of these live birth pregnancy books would you recommend? Like, I was outside of the job, I was just delivering babies left and right. And
you didn't go with that?
I should have. I don't know. I was just so annoyed. I think I was annoyed.
Dude, when I worked at Lowe's before I did comedy, and I faked a job into that because someone got me a job. I am not handy. I can't build anything. I don't know how to do it. I can wax with a hammer. It's about it. I have no idea how to fix shit, build shit, nothing. I would just cheat. They'd give me the book. I keep the book underneath. They'd have to take these tests in the back on a computer. and you would pass that, and you'd be in charge of tools. And you pass another one, you're in charge of hardware. And I did those two things. People would come in and they would ask for advice, and I would just make shit up. They're like, if I'm putting this thing and I need to go into a wall, but it doesn't have studs, it has this. I'm like, this is perfect. And then I had no idea. And then whenever I gave advice, there was a vest that a guy who quit a while back named Jose. His name tag was still in the vest. So I would keep that in my name tag. So when I was giving advice, I was Jose. And then when I was just there working and they weren't advice, I was Pat. So then people come back and go, like, I spoke with Jose, and Jose said I could put this, this giant like stud finder thing into the wall, but it broke my wall. It's like, Jose, we had to let him go. Because I would just fuck with them all the time.
Did anyone's house ever fall down because of you?
I don't think they came back and told Lowe's. I think once your house falls down, you're not like, who's the culprit? Like,
Plus, you missed an opportunity to mess with people, Dan. I would have just handed that woman the first book I saw on like raising a kid with fetal alcohol syndrome. Be like, you look like you're not a good mom.
Or Bobby, have you read this book on abortions?
It's a book on genetics. She's like, why do I need this? You'll understand what you're passing along.
We don't have a book on that, but have you ever seen a slinky in action? Because you need to take a tumble down the stairs. That's what they call the old timey. We don't want it. The old stair tumble. Or it came out all kinds of goofy if you did. So that is fun.
Here's a book on mixology.
It's gonna be white and black, like not that kind of mixology. Like,
origami with coat hangers.
Yeah, was that real?
What?
Did people really use coat hangers? Is that just an urban myth thing that we say?
No, that's real.
Like a legitimate metal coat hanger got put into someone's vagina, and they did it like they were trying to open an old car door.
And was it rusty?
When it got out,
I don't think it was. Oh God. I don't know
went
if
in
it was
clean. It came out no.
Every time somebody tells an abortion joke like that, they always say a rusty coat hanger.
I've never heard anyone say that.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like
I've also never really heard anyone talk about coat hanger abortion.
Yeah, abortion's not a joke, Dan. Okay? It's a right.
Yeah, and jokes are usually right.
Alt-right.
I write jokes all the time, Bobby.
I don't, clearly.
But no, but seriously, that was real. How did they know what to do? How did they know where to poke?
It's a tunnel.
I didn't like. I used to pick locks when I was a kid, and I didn't know what was inside that lock. I just like shimmied around with a paperclip until the thing opened up.
How did you know how to pick locks?
Trial and error.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
picking
even know
locks
how to
isn't that
trial.
hard.
Killing babies is not rocket science, Pat.
But Bobby, we only name episodes when there's no guests.
Yeah, we should name this one.
Maybe we should change that one up. Killing babies isn't rocket science. They're both hard to do.
Yeah, I mean,
and nobody lets me do either. But Bobby, do you know how to pick a lock? You said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could pick a great lock or rob a safe, but that's
like what kind of lock? Like,
that's how my buddy Jason and I became friends. He had some illegal ingredients in his locker, and it was what's the day where you scan inventory, and he had a lock and he lost the key.
What kind of lock?
It was just like a master lock, little
like
gold.
Would you turn the numbers?
No, with a key.
Oh, so you're poking. I thought you meant like one of the tumblers, and I'm like, how the fuck are you picking that?
With
those little master locks are really easy to pick.
Yeah.
Well, they all got that seems like if you could just jam around in something, you could get it.
Well, I mean, you still like feel for this. Dan, break it down for him.
Well, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch television, and my father put a timer on the TV so it would only come on when he came home. And he put a master lock on that, and I took a paper clip and I had a straight piece like that, and I bent it over like an L, and I just jammed it in there, and I kind of twisted around, and I got the master lock to open. And then he got suspicious, so he switched it out with a different master lock, and this time it was even easier because I just had like more of like a U shape. and I like bent the paperclip around and I just shoved that in there and twisted that around and a little piece popped out of it. And I just threw the little piece away and the lock's still closed and stuff, but you could just shove the bent paperclip in and twist it around and it would open right up. I'm sure there are plenty of like ones that are more complicated than those little tiny ones, but
How many paper clips did you have hanging around the house?
probably a lot. I don't know. We
A
never
lot
I
from
never
all the
seen
fucking papers because he wasn't allowed to watch TV.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, because we weren't a paper clip family. We were more of a rubber band family.
That explains a lot.
Doesn't
I
it?
feel like I feel like my family was more.
You
like
know what they say
diverse.
about the Oats is we always bounce back.
Yeah. A family that rubber bands together stays together. You know what they say.
My family was a little bit more fortunate, so we had like rubber bands, paper clips, thumbtacks. We were blessed.
Oats clan, wild as the Taliban. Rubber band man, 9 in the right, 45 in my other hand.
All I know is that if my child was Dan Brown, I would do whatever I could to make sure you were entertained. I would have TV on. I'd hire a juggler. I'd let you do whatever so you couldn't get into all your mischief. You learned how to pick locks because your dad tried to prove a point. That's where I hate when parents are always like, I'm going to prove a point. I'm going to treat a kid like this or discipline this. They'll learn. Just say that you had a bad childhood. Just say it, Dad. Just say that your life was bad and that's why you're going to limit a kid from something. They'll learn because I had to suffer and look how I turned out. I don't know. You're being mean to kids. That's
And you know
not
what?
cool.
My father was a fucking troublemaker compared to me. My father, like,
That's why he was doing it to you because he was like, well, I'm garbage. So I got to fucking stop this kid because he's from my cum. You could make better with your cum than he did with his.
I hope my comment has that potential. But
Not now.
my
Now it's stale and old, like the milk in a monkey's head.
I think a lot of my father's strictness came from not wanting us to follow in his footsteps, kind of like Dan was
You
saying.
paused, dude. You paused way too hard.
What do you mean?
You like it came from my father not wanting us?
Oh, no.
I was like, damn, yo.
He like
my father,
he clearly got into some shenanigans when he was a kid. And I think he was trying to protect us from that, but in doing so it just encouraged us to do those things. That said, like if he thought the risk you were taking was worth it, he would encourage it. I remember
Just talk to your kids about the things you did instead of trying to fucking set up traps or stops or all that shit. All you gotta do is fucking talk to them.
The worst thing about him though is he would always hit you with the what's that old guy everybody quotes, the detective?
Wilford Brimley?
No, the detective.
Diabetes.
No, the detective.
Kojak.
No, the other detective.
Columbo.
Columbo. Thanks for nothing, guys.
What did Kojak say? Who loves you, baby?
baby?
Yeah.
Jerry says preach, Pat, in the chat. Maybe I shouldn't have interrupted you. But
you
he
preach,
would always
Jerry.
he would
You
always
shouldn't
do
interrupt me.
he would always do the Columbo thing where he would act like you weren't in trouble and then he'd be like, just one more question, Bob, and then it would be how you had already hung yourself with the answers you'd given, and it was the most psychotic shit.
Yeah, like my dad would.
But
we didn't have those talks, like whatever, because I was, was living with my mom most of the time. He was better at talks now, but like I talk to my kids all the time. So like, I also tell my kids everything I did. My kids, they come to comedy shows. They know all my wacky stories. They love the crazy stories, but they also tell me all the stuff that they're up to. And it's not anything wild or crazy, but they also know if they did something wild or crazy that they deemed that maybe their mom would get mad. But I'm never going to I'll never be mad at you. You'll never hear me say that bullshit. I'm being disappointed. I'm never disappointed in you. You two rule. You're my favorite fucking humans in the world. Why would I be disappointed? And I'll never like not love you if you do some crazy shit. If I said, hey, clean your room, and you didn't clean your room, no one likes cleaning their fucking room. It sucks. Like I get it. Eventually it has to get done, but just to yell and punish and do all that way, or don't watch TV or whatever. There's only so much time in life. Fucking relax. Who gives a fuck?
What if they
Absolutely.
ate people?
What if they hate people?
Ate.
If they ate people and they told me?
Yeah.
Man, you know me. What would the first question be?
Who was it?
No, I'd be what it tastes like. I like that. Who was it? Yeah, I'd be like, what, was it good? Like,
which part did you eat first?
well, I guess the first real question is, if we're really going here, if one of my kids came to me and said, Dad, it just things got out of control last night. I ate someone, and I was like, I'd be like, figuratively or literally. And so, like, if you're telling me about your sex, that's a little weird. We're close, but like, whatever. They're like, no. Like, literally, I ate a person. I go, well, did they die? So yeah, they were
Either
dead
way,
when
son, that's disgusting and took a lot of work. I'm proud of you.
Right. Well, did they die? I'd have to ask that question. Yeah. Did you kill this person? Who? Where do? What do I have to be ready for? Police wise, lie wise, cover for you wise. What do I have to say I did because I'm older and you're not going to jail? So I got to know how I ate this guy because my kids aren't going to jail. So it's like, but and I know everyone's out there's like, well, then he's just gonna be running amok eating people. We won't be eating. I'll be in prison.
What if one of your kids though is a cook, right? What if he like prepared it so intricately and like it's the skill with which he prepared this meal was so technical and involved that you couldn't remember all the steps that it took to prepare this meal.
Remember earlier when Bobby said he shouldn't interrupt me? Maybe Dan should take those notes because question 3 was going to be, how did you prepare the meal? That's what I was going to ask, Dan. Yeah. To be seriously, my kids can tell me, if my kids told me they killed someone, I'm also the kind of parent that'd be like, they could be holding the knife covered in blood. The dead person could be on the ground. And I'd be like, would they run into your knife? You didn't do that. I'm also that guy, but whatever. Probably says a lot about the hugs I wanted when I was a kid and never got. But
yeah, I mean, and the reality is, along the way there'd be signs, like because they are so open with you, and you foster.
Like Bill Engvall.
Here's your sign.
I ate a guy. Here's your sign.
But no, like, and the worst thing you can do is not let a kid make their own mistakes because they'll hate you for not letting them have that opportunity.
And also, you learned what's wrong because you made the mistake.
Yeah, and if you constantly...
They're not us. If I can tell, I'm the only parent here, and I don't mean to be a preachy thing, but like the argument I even have with like my ex and other people's parents, stuff like that, when people go, well, they're an extension of me. No, they're not. That's your ego. They're not an extension of you. You were involved in the very process a long time ago of making them, but once they came to this earth, yes, they are raised around your bupkis shit, and they're raised around your logics and your things you do. So yes, they are similar to you, in how they look, but more importantly, in things they're exposed to. But they're not you. They are a different brain, different person, different things. They're going to do things you didn't. They don't do things. They're not funny because you're funny. They're not smart because you're smart. They don't walk weird because you walk weird. They're who they are. So
three of those things you listed.
Their mistakes, because their mistakes might lead to better things and yours didn't. They need to learn on their own shit.
Well, 3 of those things you listed are because of you. If you walk funny, that's genetics. If you're smart, that's genetics.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not true.
You could have a genetic disorder.
So wait, you're telling me every family of smart people has smart people. There's nobody that's
no. Let's focus more on the physical deformities.
Well, no, but you brought up the 3 things where you tried to say I was wrong on a thing. So
I would say 50%.
I broke my foot when I was 20 years old. I walk funny.
Yeah, and now you should continue that real family tradition.
My kids don't walk funny because
and you should use that real family tradition and break your son's foot when he turns 20, and then he can also walk funny like the no. But I was just making a joke. But I will say the one good thing my dad did do was encourage us to make some of the good mistakes he did. Like I remember my senior year, somebody did like vandalism as the prank, and they wrote our school year on all the walls, and they had the big assembly, and we're like, if you do a senior prank, you won't walk at graduation. Well, we planned a senior prank, and my mom that morning was like, if you do not walk at graduation, I will never talk to you again. And I was like getting ready to bail. And then my dad called me on the way to school and was like, hey, if you do not pull off this prank, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Like, I don't care if you get in trouble. Go have fun. You're not hurting anybody. And like, so as much as there was some bad there was some good there too.
Did your parents get a divorce?
No, they live together and they're still married to this day.
Which means they're just those parents that sit there and think the other one's dumb.
Yep, pretty much. But the other thing you got to be careful with is if you like overreact.
In a negative way.
Yeah, if you overreact to everything, then your kids will start hiding stuff from you. I remember.
Where's the weed?
No. I'm talking about like in kindergarten. I remember my parents overreacting, so I hid something from them. Then I remember doing, like, we would pray as a family, and then I remember doing my real prayers to God when I went to bed, being like, all right, I'm glad they didn't find out I lied to him today. That's a real psychosis in a kid.
Yeah, but they
Toxic.
must have at one point made a big deal about the prayer that you felt like it was a big deal.
Oh, yeah, praying to God. I meant the fact that they made me lie to them, and then I had to send real prayers to God's.
Right. No, I'm saying you felt this guilt because they instilled this thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's the crazy part. It's like it's not even the overreaction or whatever. It really is that thing we try to do to teach a lesson or like just instill something where we don't realize that we're fucking with a young psyche that thinks it's a much bigger deal. Like,
but maybe you're not. Maybe they're not.
like your mom would have always talked to you again. Like, you know what I mean? She would have said for a while. Obviously, your mother would have spoken to you again. You know, but you understand that what she was trying to let you know how important it was. But if you were younger and that was like 6th or 5th grade graduation,
Yeah.
the fuckery it would have done with that, like my mother, I'll be living on the streets. My dad won't fight for me. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? It would be madness because of this thing we say that we think it forces something more.
Maybe they're not, but maybe he's not fucked up because he had the wherewithal to be like, my parents are so lame, even God's on my side. Up top, God. And he shared his secrets with God.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those prayers were also in there about, like, kill the teacher, please, and cancer and specific types and all that stuff. Toxic Longboat in the chat says it's a little late, but Bobby's weight loss is almost as impressive as Nikado's, which is just doubly insulting because I hate that man and he's gained weight. So I am going to. He's a guy I went to high school with that beat me in a speech contest in 7th grade because he lost and then cried, so the judges changed the award. And I've clearly let that go. But then he moved to Cuba and was like a skinny vegan who only ate avocados, and then he got into that eating thing and is no longer a vegan.
When you cried, was that one of the things that made you call him gay?
No, the fact that he sucks so much penis is why I called him gay. Apparently he lost 90 pounds, so never mind.
Speaking of gay, Mike O'Donnell said happy Cinco de Mayo, boys. I guess he commented underneath, so.
Oh, hey, thanks, Mike. Shout out Mike. And shout out this podcast. It was pretty great.
We did it.
We can
Dan,
keep going.
you weren't as drunk as you said you were.
I'm kind of drunk.
Yeah, but you did good.
Yeah.
Dan always does well, but this one in particular, Dan, you felt on fire. I don't know if it was the rant about GNC or what that did it for me, buddy, but
I just like talking about God and muscles
okay.
and picking locks.
Who's your favorite god?
My favorite God? I don't really believe in any gods that human beings have described to me thus far, but I'm open to the possibility that a different God that no one has thought of is out there somewhere.
I thought. So do you just like not? Do you like talking about God and being like, no, he doesn't. You don't know, or how do you like talk to me about God? Teach me.
I just think that
I don't think he really likes talking about God. I think he was making a joke.
I was, but also I do have strong feelings about not having humans define what God is.
That would be kind of weird, right?
It would, because all we know are what humans say, but the universe is beyond what humans are.
Okay, remember at the beginning of this podcast when I asked what people can do and you can say it's gay?
Gay.
Just let me hit Dan with this. No, I'm just kidding. On that note, Dan, what do you got to promote, buddy?
June 10th, I'm going to be at the Elbow Room in West Hartford, Connecticut with who?
I don't know who.
Oh, shit.
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Hell
Dan's
yeah.
going to be featured for me, and then Matt Heath, who stinks, he's going to be the host.
Well, thankfully, he's just the stinky host, and you got a solid feature to clean up the mess he leaves you.
Yep.
Dave Coulier.
Also,
Matt Heath does jokes about Dave Coulier. That's why he did yell Dave Coulier for no reason.
I thought it was just because he bears a stunning resemblance.
Cut it out.
Hey, I'm more of an Uncle Jesse type of fella.
I'm just going to let that one slide, Dan. On that note, I got to apologize to you, Pat, because I said I got to work with Tate, and you said Tate Winston? And I went, no, and it was Tate. I didn't realize it was the same person, so I apologize. And
But no, to be fair, ready? And I will now come back with an apology to you. I said Tate Winston. I know Tate Winston. I like Tate Winston. He's a very funny guy. But I met Winston Hedges.
that's why I said no, it wasn't him, because I knew you meant Winston Hodges, but it turns out it was Tate Winston.
But I met Tate with I knew him before, but I worked with him during COVID when he opened for me and him opened for Richie Reddick.
Yep, that's where I met him as well, so that makes sense. And perfect example. Very funny comedian and fun times. If you weren't paying attention, but I'm guessing you are because you're one of the 5 people in the live stream. May is the month of the donkey. Head over to my YouTube. Lots of fun stuff there. We got a real fun new podcast coming Tuesday. It's Mock and Talk and Shopping with Chapin, so that'll be a lot of fun. You want to get in the chat room at 9 because that's when the show starts. Next Saturday, I'm with Earl, and then the following, I'm at the Appel Center in New York with Earl. Pat, in addition to...
I don't approve the Chapin stuff. I've never approved. If you're new to our show, I don't like Harry Chapin talk. If you're old to our show, I don't like Harry Chapin talk.
Well,
I know that you have a thing with a thing and a thing.
No, the good news is it's an analysis of a Harry Chapin podcast, so it's not much
an
about
analysis.
Harry Chapin. So
you're the anal part of analysis.
Well, if you're like Pat and you hate anything that involves Harry Chapin and you're looking for some entertainment, and head on over to iTunes, Amazon, anywhere you can buy music and get Stay Dry. It's the hottest album on Uncancelable Records right now. Check it out.
Bobby, at some platforms, though, when you're writing in Stay Dry, you have to write the exclamation point.
Make sure you add the exclamation
point.
Which
I did not know, and I'm like, that's pretty wild. But if you just put Pat Oates, it comes up, and it's fine.
Perfect.
So that's good there. So, listen, there's no Harry Chapin, but there is some Hasselhoff and some Meatloaf on there. So,
which is basically Harry Chapin if you combine them.
Yes, if you do put them together, they are the Voltron that makes Harry Chapin. So if you are a subscriber to Gas Digital, you can hear today is Friday, and we'll drop this later on. But my episode on Rap with Luis J. Gomez, me and Mike Cannon were the guests. That came out today on there. I think it'll come out on YouTube, I believe, sometime early next week. So check that out. We had a fun time on there. It was a good appearance and fun. So hopefully we get some new people out of that. So that was cool. A bunch of other shows coming up. I'm not going to list them off, whatever. Chaz and AJ on 991 PLR. I'll be on there Monday and Wednesdays. There are people that said to me, I want to hear you on the radio when you're on morning shows. We do. That can be so loud that I can't talk over it.
Nope, you're good.
I just didn't know if I had to go, no, like Crazy Eddie, like just go harder with it. But
dig in.
If you want to hear 991 PLR, you can just download the app, the 991 PLR app, and then you can hear the morning show when I'm on it. I'll be on Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 10. So check it out there. Besides that, Dan, thank you so much. I think Dan is looking for more skulls. Bobby, always fun times. And if you support the show and you like the show, you want us to be able, we're trying to develop and do it all the time. You know what help? Your support over on the Patreon. It's a small little world over there. We'd like to make it bigger. If we make more money there, that money's all going to go into this show and getting us into like a studio and doing things of that nature. So you give us money, we give you better content. We appreciate you. We'd like to start doing more of the live stream things of that nature. We start getting to the point where we can start moving around stuff and maybe even do some Patreon where some of us live streamers can jump in and jump on the show with us. But we can't do that if you don't give us some fucking money. Everyone else is shilling. Let's shill it up. Cinco de Mayo, it's the land of the Jewish. Let's give us some money. There you go. Bobby.
And one more group of people I want to thank real quick. Anybody who jumped in the chat tonight and watched the live stream. I know it was something new. We were just trying to see if it worked. I'm just saying thanks to
Jerry because he agreed with me. Everyone else, fuck you.
Jerry was great. Toxic Longbone, thank you. Jeff Hillman. We had a Jeff appearance. Gotta love Jeff. And NY Comedians Suck. So thank you for chatting. And if you were
NY
a streamer,
Comedian what?
Suck.
That's the guy's name?
Yeah, NY Comedians Suck.
Nice.
I'm glad he's a fan.
And Mike O'Donnell.
And Mike O'Donnell, who didn't jump in the chat, and I was going to say
nobody saw
else.
It on Facebook. So.
Yeah, and if anybody else was watching, thanks for watching and not commenting. You don't have to. Feel no pressure. And if you can't beat them, never mind. If you can't join them, Dan, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.